Hi, today, as was promised, we will dive deep into the entities of the house. However, this time, we will discuss Chapter 2. If you wish to watch the first video where we dove into Chapter 1's entities, click the card on the upper right corner. If you have watched that already, I won't waste your time, let us begin. Our first entity, and a returning entity from Chapter 1 is Susan, otherwise known as the Banshee. The Banshee takes on the appearance of a tall, lanky, and possibly malnourished woman, with hair that floats around her in individual strands, and an open mouth. Unlike Chapter 1, this entity is completely harmless. She resides within the closet of the parents' room. Once Melody opens the closet, the Banshee will shriek and wither away. Doing so, will unlock a new journal entry. Titled Scream, it reads, "I can still hear her screaming. Is she stuck in this rotting house too? Spending each day screaming in agony. Will that be me soon?" Here is the full event. Another entity that returns from Chapter 1 is known as the Economy. She will only appear after Jizo has been defeated. Her head will be poking out of the toilet, and Melody must kill the spider ducky to talk to her. If she does, the entity will say, "Hey kid. I didn't think you had it in you. I'm impressed. Using your family and dead boyfriend to defeat him. Ruthless. I'll keep in touch, okay?" Before disappearing back into the toilet. Our next entity is simply known as the Clock. Taking on the appearance of a warped and crooked clock, its front is missing, and 3 branches are growing out of it. 2 from the head, and 1 from the body. Its pendulum is still visible, albeit warped and twisted like the rest of the clock. The entity will appear in the hallway from the beginning of the night. Throughout the night, the clock will progress through 5 stages, and finally, at 4 p.m., the branches will retreat and the clock will become hostile. Floor tiles will begin to tilt upwards, and in a few moments, a tree branch will thrust upwards to try and kill Melody. There are no ways of destroying the entity, and the best course of action against it is to simply not spend time in the hallway, as it is confined to it. Our next entity is simply known as the Piano Demon. The Piano Demon refers to an entity with blue arms and legs that resides within the piano of the music room. This entity will be active from the start of the night. Should Melody enter the music room, the entity will peek through the lid of the piano before growing arms and legs and giving chase. This entity is confined to the music room, and cannot exit it. Moreover, if Melody is to wait until 3 a.m., the entity will stop being hostile and begin playing a song. Once it has finished the song, it will resume its usual behavior. That is, until the clock strikes 6 a.m., by which time the Piano Demon will completely cease to give chase. There is a way to kill the Piano Demon. Firstly, the piano must be playing the song, meaning it must be 3 a.m. or a little later. Second, Melody would have to have unlocked the friend song, which is done by giving the rat a cup of Lisa's wine. Then, Melody must play the friend song. This will cause the small rat to follow her. Luring said rat into the music room will result in the following. Our next and perhaps most interesting entity is known as Spider Ducky. This entity has 2 appearances throughout the night. At first, it will appear as a normal yellow rubber ducky. It will not move nor make any noise. Its abnormal effect takes hold if Melody picks the ducky up, which will ensue the following. However, after Jizo has arrived, the entity grows much larger, and seemingly more inflated. Should Melody get too close, the entity will grow legs and begin chasing her through the house. Melody can kill the rubber ducky if she uses the scissors. But should the spider ducky catch up to her, the following will occur. Our next entity is known as Toby. Taking on the appearance of an undead young male, wearing a tank top and shorts, it supports short brown hair, and its face seems to have warped or twisted in some manner. This entity is found in the basement attached to the parents' bedroom. At first, it appears as a lifeless corpse laying chained at James's feet. However, after a time, the corpse will reanimate and kill James before beginning to roam the house. This entity can also be awakened by playing the father song. However, in this way, Toby will not kill James, which is an essential part in achieving the ending, more on which in another video. This entity can also be found in the form of a ghost in a few different places. However, I will save our exploration of that for another video. The best way to evade this entity is to stay out of its line of sight, or hide. Should Toby spot Melody, it will growl and give chase. Our next entity is known as the Lady Spirit. This entity is very similar to the spirits that roam the house in Chapter 1. However, unlike those spirits, this entity takes on the appearance of a shadowy silhouette of a woman in a long dress. Her eyes glow bright green, and she seems to have hair that surrounds her head. This entity will begin appearing after 3 a.m. When she appears, a distinct female laughter can be heard. Then, she will manifest somewhere in the room the laughter was heard in, and begin chasing Melody. If Melody can outrun her for a couple of seconds, she will disappear. However, should she ever catch Melody, the following will occur. Our next entity, or perhaps trap, is known simply as the noose trap. This trap appears as a brown thick rope, tied in a noose-like shape. The end of the rope is attached to the wall and seems to go through a hole inside the wall. It is unknown who, or what, sets this trap, as it isn't present through the whole night. In fact, it only appears if a certain condition is met. Melody has to either wait for Toby to wake up on his own, or awaken him with the father song. Then, she must have obtained Grandma's candle. She then needs to search one of the 3 rooms at the left end of the hall for Toby's ghost. Then, she must lure Toby's reanimated body to the room with the ghost, which will cause Toby's ghost to possess the body and make it docile. Only then, does the noose trap appear in the main room, at the upper left corner. Should the noose trap be left as is, and James be alive, as he is crawling towards the entrance, he will be caught by the trap, which will kill him. The only way to prevent him from dying, and by extension disarming the noose trap, is by the use of scissors. However, if she is to step on the noose trap, the following will occur. Our next and last entity, and the only boss of this chapter, is known as Jizo. This entity appears as an old bald man. His face resembles that of a skull. This entity wears a big backpack, on which 2 faces can be seen, resembling one of James, and another of an unknown character. This entity also holds a wooden cane, that he both uses to walk and as a weapon. This entity will appear after the clock hits 6 a.m. The entity will appear in the doorway, similar to James in the first chapter. He will say, What's this? A shift in the paradigm. A fresh soul is near. Come to me, child, I shall escort you to the other side. Afterwards, should he appear again in another playthrough, it will say one of the following. Are you still in there, little girl? Accept your fate, girl. There's no way out of this. You can't keep this up forever, little girl. How many times must we do this? Then, the entity will begin slowly chasing Melody. Should he catch her, the following will occur. And with that, our explanation into the second chapter of the house has come to an end. Be sure to keep an eye out, you'll never know if your house has subtly changed by an unseen force.